You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
It's Monday night, it's 11:30 on February 1st. You're risking your job, your marriage, your livelihood to listen to your boys, Angry Tensai and Big Dick, talk about Raw through their very own eyes. If 3 hours wasn't enough, welcome to the Raw Reaction. I am your host, the Angry Tensai, and with me is the thing that I love, Big Dick.
How you doing, brother?
Hi, Big Dick. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What's the good word with things up in Connecticut these days?
Well, Big Dick, I have a question. Did you watch Raw tonight?
I did.
You better have, or we don't show. I'd be talking to myself.
Yeah, you missed out on another great show.
No, I watched the whole show. I'm only kidding. But I guess I would say this is your typical road to WrestleMania, which is kill off everything after Royal Rumble outside of established matches. Nothing really happens. Titles don't move. It's pretty stagnant. I don't know. Do you feel like anything advanced tonight?
I think it built up a little bit the Reigns, Ambrose, and Lesnar. And it looks like they're trying to position Lesnar as the heel. It looks like in this, although he's probably the most over of the three.
Well,
so I thought that was probably one of the more interesting segments. Sort of saw it coming at the end, but it's just, I mean, it gives it. We have a couple storylines heading into Fastlane and eventually the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, which actually makes me wonder: is Triple H going to defend at Fastlane?
No way. I don't see that.
I also agree. I don't think that's going to be the case as well. I think that I don't know. Maybe they'll bring Sting back to wrestle one more time. I mean, you saw how well his last match went.
They should build a mini feud, just somebody some up and comer wins a big match and challenges them. Just to give somebody some rub. It would be kind of cool to see somebody up and coming get a shot. I don't think that'll happen though, but I did, to your point tonight, I guess to me, what they did do somewhat effectively is they really built up that Ambrose could win this match. I don't think he has any chance, but they teased tonight that he is his own man. He's going to be near impossible to beat. And I really liked the heat / chemistry, if you will, between Lesnar and Ambrose. I think he got something there. I actually was really intrigued by their interaction. And I actually was intrigued that Brock Lesnar, his character, was amused by Ambrose almost. I thought that was very interesting. I don't know to read into that, but the first segment we saw, Lesnar was talking about his dominance and the triple threat match at the pay-per-view for the number one contender, where he will face Roman Reigns and Ambrose, and he was really focusing in on Roman Reigns, but Ambrose came down and said, I want to get up real close and see this for myself, meaning Brock Lesnar, and he just basically told Brock that, I don't care what you do to me. You can take me to Suplex City. I hope you do. You can slam me on my neck as many times as you want. You can do whatever you want to do to me, but I'm going to keep getting up and at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one you need to be worried about. I'm going to be the guy who wins this match. And he just basically walked off, and Lesnar looked pretty damn amused by him. And I thought it was really interesting how Ambrose wasn't afraid of him, and Lesnar really didn't seem to view him as a threat. I don't think Lesnar has an issue with him, but he just kind of was like, all right, get this guy in my face. You know, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was different than your normal WWE segment, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really. Lesnar came out as the face, I think, but I think that I think they definitely moved. At least in actions, they moved to push Ambrose a little bit. Of the three, he's the heel. Do I think something gets switched around at the pay-per-view? Yes. But for the moment, I feel like they're trying to position him as the heel. I don't know if Reigns turns heel, or maybe they just try to keep the status quo and have him go against Triple H at WrestleMania in the main event.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm starting to believe Ambrose might be able to win this thing. I don't know. But I mean, that's the idea of tonight, and that's why the writers actually did a decent job with that segment. You know, you look at Ambrose. He's got nothing to lose, Vic. And I like that. I like that whole angle of I got nothing to lose here, you know? So I liked Stephanie backstage trying to bait Reigns and Ambrose into a fight by saying, you know, aren't you tired of being Roman Reigns' a sidekick and being viewed as second best? And I think it's kind of funny how they're kind of teasing that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that would manifest itself at Fastlane of all places. If Reigns and Ambrose are gonna turn on each other, it'll be the turning point and the thing that decides the main event at WrestleMania, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be either that or maybe the night after WrestleMania.
Well,
I think those are probably the two main positions.
I'm gonna say somebody. I would not be surprised, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, if Triple H walks out of WrestleMania with the title.
You know, I see that. I can almost see this possibly being, if you think about it, if Ambrose and Kevin Owens don't renew the rivalry, which I hope they don't do before Fastlane, because that would sort of I don't want to know the winner at Fastlane based on other feuds that are setting up. So I don't want to see Bray Wyatt picking fights with Lesnar, talking shit about Lesnar.
Exactly, man. I know.
You know, okay, hey, you know what? That's not going to happen. I want to go, and the same thing. We don't want Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose to be feuding leading up to that, because then we know most likely he's not going to win that match.
Right.
And I feel like with one of them, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be Lesnar. It's going to be Bray Wyatt who, in some way, interferes at Fastlane and impacts up. The easy booking is saying, or lazy booking, I guess, is saying he would interfere, cause Lesnar to match. Get a little bit more complicated. He goes in there, Lesnar attacks Reigns, because anybody but Roman Reigns, and he has this feud with Lesnar, then Ambrose wins and goes to WrestleMania. That would be a lot more creative. That would be a lot more entertaining.
You know what, man? I agree with you. It should be anyone but Reigns. There's no reason Bray Wyatt, because that's really the only way you can get Lesnar to lose this match. And Bray Wyatt would not help any outcome that helps Roman Reigns. Anyone but you, Roman. Anyone.
But the thing is, do you think that they do a Lesnar, or they could go in and they could have two people come in, two people win, or something like that. I mean, they did it at NXT. That was actually a really cool finish to the match. I don't know if you watched NXT last week. I've become a somewhat regular viewer now.
I hated that.
I thought it was interesting. It was interesting swerve.
I would think the person who has the submission, although Samoa Joe's for those of you who didn't see it, Sami Zayn had their opponent. It was a triple threat match for the number one contendership. He had Baron Corbin in a Scorpion Deathlock, and it looked like he was going to tap, and he didn't tap. And Samoa Joe ran in the ring, and while Baron was in the Scorpion, he actually put like an armbar crossface on a crippler crossface, if you will, on Corbin. So they both had a submission on him at the same time, and then he tapped. Now, it was very obvious to see that the torque that Samoa Joe put on Corbin is what made him tap. But correct me if I would think in that scenario the person who has the hold unlocked first would get the submission.
Well, as it turned out, I think that they're wrestling a triple threat, or they're wrestling I think it's an Iron Man match or something coming up at the next.
What's the ruling there? I mean, really, is there a ruling, or is it like I've never seen that before?
I think in reading the dirt sheets, I think they have like an Iron Man match. Like I don't know if it's this week coming up or in 2 weeks or something.
What should have been the call there?
You know what? I think that's fine. It's a creative way to do some new booking.
I'm just curious though. Is there I don't mind the outcome. I'm just curious. I didn't like the outcome to be honest with you, but I'm curious. Is there a rule though on who should have got the fall?
I don't think so. I mean, I actually have to wonder after watching tonight in tag team wrestling, what is the rule for you have to hold that little rope in the corner, but can you be on either side of the ring, or do you have to stand on one side of the post all the time?
I think you can be on either side.
Yeah, you can be on either side.
Well, like you see Ambrose waiting for Reigns, and Reigns is like in the corner to the right of him, and he's standing on the far side of the thing. If he reached over and held his hand out, he could have been probably 5 feet closer at least. I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't think too much about that stuff, or you drive yourself freaking crazy. But it definitely irked me a little bit because I'm like, I wonder what the rules are on that. I have to get the WWE wrestling book or the wrestling rule book and see what the call is there.
Yeah, I'm curious myself. I mean, I've never seen anything like that, and yet NXT once again pulling a rabbit out of the hat and showing something unique. It was very cool. I'm glad you brought that up, Vic. That was interesting.
So, I mean, I think there's 3 options there. I think that you could have Reigns, or I think you have a triple threat match. I think you can have. Right now, I think any out of 3 can win. I think lazy booking is going to be Reigns, but I don't know if that's going to be the ultimate outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too early to tell. I mean, I would think the money's on Roman Reigns, but hey, you never know. You know what I hated tonight?
What's that?
What's up with Tyler Breeze? Why are they just totally treating him like a piece of shit jobber?
Yeah, I was going to say my complaint with that match was not so much Tyler Breeze, but what the hell's his name? Titus O'Neil. I feel like he's like a brand new wrestler getting you have 10 wins over scrubs. I mean, he went from a feud with Cody Rhodes to now Tyler Breeze, who's basically a loss or 2 away from joining the social outcasts. Hashtag social outcasts.
But I mean, why? But why though? Why is Tyler Breeze being treated this way?
I don't know. I do not know.
I mean, I think he's a great worker. I think he's good on the mic. I'm really disappointed that this is how he's being treated.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not really sure. I feel like they've sort of pigeonholed in there to be a jobber, and I don't know. I mean, I guess they don't have much of a feud. They didn't have any feuds for him after he got done with Dolph Ziggler, which I think made the most sense. But I think that he didn't go over Ziggler, and I guess that's where you end up.
Well, that's what shocked me. Tyler Breeze 2.0, Dolph Ziggler, got a clean win with a zigzag over Kevin Owens. Did you expect that? I did not.
No, I didn't either, but you know what? I think it's a good thing for Dolph because it'll give him a little momentum going into Fastlane and eventually WrestleMania. I mean, he's getting dangerously close there to becoming in the ring at this time.
Huh. Yeah, it was looking that way, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and he's a great worker, very entertaining. I don't think he's at the point where he was a year or 2 ago, where we're pushing for we thought he was a win away from a solid championship match or a little championship run. But I mean, I still think he's a great worker, and I hope they put together a good match for him at WrestleMania. I wouldn't mind seeing him in if they don't pull the trigger on. I think it's going to be. I think Jericho and Styles are going to wrestle at the next pay-per-view, and then possibly at Mania as a rubber match. But if not, I wouldn't mind seeing AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler wrestle. That'd be quite an interesting match.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see that myself. I mean, listen, the work rate on all these guys is so good. You can't go wrong either way. You know what I mean? The thing is, we need meaningful storylines behind them, not just let's throw the guys in the ring, let's put them out there and see what they can do. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they need to. I mean, they need to build up the story, build up something, build up the feud. We can't have. They had a.
Man, the story really makes the difference. I think the story is everything. I really do. I love having great workers like WWE has right now, but they're really lazy on the stories, man. Where is the storytelling? Give us the storytelling. We want it. Like Miz tonight, in a way, with AJ Styles, he told the story.
Yeah, and you know what? Even if that's just complete BS and on him to get a little bit of a rub for AJ Styles, I mean, it builds up a match for SmackDown at the end of the day. I think that more telling, I think, having Chris Jericho in the back commenting on it afterwards and saying that, hey, I think it's really arrogant and really shitty to be saying that, but at the same time, I mean, Jericho's sort of treating him like, hey, I'm the 20-whatever-year veteran and you're just a rookie here.
Right.
So I think that's sort of, sort of heelish, I guess, what they're going for there. And I mean, Jericho, I think that
man, AJ's not making friends.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that's part of the storyline where, I mean, going into, let's say they do a brother match at WrestleMania, where they do play this out, this feud for a while. I think that Jericho is definitely positioned to be the, sort of be the heel, sort of be the asshole.
Oh, definitely. I did like that Miz called AJ Styles a slow hick. That was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because he was like going on and just sort of like underline cut, bust on the audience, underline cut. One of my favorite things about Miz, I like that when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. I'm a big fan of that.
I like that too. I actually like that Miz took a lot of veiled shots. Maybe not necessarily so veiled, but he kind of shit on TNA in a big way in that segment, which I really appreciated a lot.
Yeah, TNA, I mean, whatever.
Come right out and kind of knock TNA, and that was the first time I've ever seen them do that. When he was talking about wrestling in Florida, like in front of small audiences, and now you're in the big time. And
well, wrestling in Florida and small audiences could also mean Full Sail University.
So TNA is such a piece of shit. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but did TNA even wrestle? Did they wrestle in Florida? I thought they were wrestling like Nashville or something all the time. Oh yeah, that's right.
Dixie
Carter.
Carter.
At the same time, that's right.
Killer Kev's friends with Dixie Carter, right?
Killer Kev, is this true?
We once had close relations.
Wow.
You like Dixie, don't you?
She's an alright gal. Once you get to know her.
You think she's doing a good job running TNA?
Oh, hell no.
You don't think TNA is the big comeback brand?
No.
But they have EC3.
I mean, they've got a fine roster, but they've got a long hill to climb.
Can they overcome it?
Maybe.
I like that they're keeping the great brand name. It's so respected internationally.
Dude, they are loved when they do their tours of London. They're loved out there.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are. They sell out in Europe.
Why?
Because David Hasselhoff. Germans love David Hasselhoff.
Oh, why?
I mean, the wrestling for the most part is really good. And they don't have to deal with the storylines when you go live over there. It's just all about the wrestling. Really, what I don't understand is why TNA didn't pack it up in the United States 4 years ago and go to Europe.
Why don't they?
I have no idea.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. How about Sasha Banks, Vic?
I like it a little bit. I didn't really get. I felt that Team Bad was always the third wheel in the three teams that came out, and they didn't really join in the ruckus too much outside of one or two times. They didn't really have. I mean, Sasha wasn't really getting a push there. Nobody else in the team was really getting a push. So it was interesting to have, and again, I don't know if this is their breakup or this is just sort of, hey, we're reintroducing them and sort of declaring it as, okay, they're going to try to be friends, but then when she wins in a tag team match with somebody from outside of Team Bad, then that's going to end a friendship, which it looks like that might be happening based on tonight's episode.
Yeah, and those of you that don't know, Sasha took on Becky Lynch, and there was a big hubbub before the match where Sasha was accused by her Team Bad teammates of basically not having interest in the team and her own agenda. And Sasha said basically she needs them to stand behind her and she appreciates anything they can do. Well, I don't remember what exactly happened, but Sasha, actually I do. Sasha sent her opponent outside the ring, and they both were fighting their respective, I want to say, counterparts on the other side of the ring. And Sasha got basically beat up by her own team because her team tried to interfere and she tried to stop it, if you recall.
Yeah, it was an interesting angle. I wasn't sure. I thought this was going to play out before the match. Didn't. It played out sort of during the match. Definitely makes her a face of the group, which I think that goes without saying. That goes without saying was what they're looking to do. They're making her the face with what's her name, the heel, or Charlotte the heel.
Was Becky going to be a team with Sasha?
I don't know. I could see him forming an alliance. I mean, I think that basically all three of those factions that came in, they could have probably had a great little three-way match, three-way rivalry there. And I feel like everything's been broken up. I mean, all three. I mean, what's her name is out. Nikki Bella is out with surgery. Sasha just broke up with her team, and obviously Charlotte Paige. First Paige sort of turned, and Charlotte sort of turned, and I mean that they're all sort of done. At least as they originally were. I mean, all the divas are there still, or most of the divas are still around, with the exception of Nikki, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's interesting to see how they're booking it. I thought that we would get a big sort of a Wyatt versus the Shield match, exclamation point to the rivalry, which would have been huge when they first came out. I mean, there's a lot of rub for them, and I think they just did a lot of smaller matches that didn't really lead up to anything. And I don't know, the Divas Revolution, when did it happen? Back in last summer, was it? I think it was last summer, but they never really had a sort of an end game or where everybody faced each other, and it was always one-on-one and slower developing feuds. Whereas I don't think that if you do maybe a three-way dance with three-person teams, I don't think you're going to be able to pull it off on WrestleMania or it's not going to headline a pay-per-view, is what I could say. That's probably the best. I mean, I think it would be cool, like do something like put it in the Survivor Series or build it up for Royal Rumble where you have a less impressive undercard and you want to get, and you can probably work some feuds out of the results of that.
I agree. I don't think the Royal Rumble was used effectively enough to advance the feuds along and lay out the next card. So they did miss an opportunity there. But I am with you there. I'm trying to think of other segments of note. Charlotte was pinned by Brie Bella thanks to Ric Flair's accidental interference. What
did he do to interfere? I didn't see it.
Not much. I mean, she had what's her face?
Great.
Bella had Charlotte in like some kind of like sleeper hold where she was like riding in the back of Charlotte. Well, Charlotte was kind of going to La La Land, and Ric Flair decided to stand up in the apron and cause as much catastrophe as he could by just yelling and screaming. And it basically got Alicia and Brie off their games momentarily. Brie got rolled up, but re-rolled it into a pin. Or actually, no. Brie was about to get the figure eight and then rolled it up into a pin to score the win. So Brie Bella puts herself in a position where she's one of the top contenders once again.
Yeah, and that was interesting. I didn't hear before the match. To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention here. But I didn't hear before the match it wasn't a title match, but I guess that makes sense. And I know that I was a little surprised with the results there. I thought that was going to be a match that she lost, but I mean that could be something where she could wrestle. And again, I don't know if you have two women's matches or you have one on the pre-show. I almost feel like the WWE pre-shows, I almost feel like they could have two matches on them. the shows are the shows an hour, the pre-shows?
They are an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta have two matches. I mean, have a Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze type match, and then have a women's match, and then have the more important women's match on the pay-per-view. And I think that's how. I mean, don't get me wrong. The pre-shows are. I barely watch them, but I'm sure they serve their purpose, and they advance some feuds. But I mean, you throw 2 10-minute matches in there, and it's gonna give them. I mean, people who are turning it on are already watching. You don't need to go through the Undertaker montage on the pre-show and then again before the match. If somebody has the pre-show on, they're going to watch the pay-per-view. Do it once before the match to get them hyped up again, but you don't need to do it. People watch the pre-show and say, I don't really want to watch this. No, they have WWE Network. They've turned it on, and most likely they're not turning it off until the end of the pay-per-view. So those are my thoughts on booking pay-per-view. And so what exactly are they doing with Titus O'Neil?
I don't know, man. I think this is all about the Batista thing. Like, as a favorite of Batista, they're trying to push him. You know, I don't understand.
Why is he? What happened? Why is he getting favors? What's the story there? Are they like just gym buddies or something?
I thought that, but I think he won some big award for like a Man of the Year.
Oh, he won like Father of the Year award or something for the last pay-per-view. But how does Batista play into that?
I don't know. Just Batista's been lobbying him to all the writers and all the fans about how talented he is. So I figured that had something to do with it.
Dude, you know what? They should bring... Shit, is Batista still under contract with them? They should bring Batista back to wrestle him. That would be an interesting match. That would actually... that would be a good feud because you know that Batista can't carry more than a 10-minute match. No. Pay-per-view. I don't think Titus O'Neil could do that either. But think about it. You bring Batista back, and that's like big news, hot shit type thing. And to put him in a feud immediately against Tyler or against Titus O'Neil, I mean that's some big shit for him. I mean, you figure he'd be coming back to wrestle for the title if he was. And again, I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, you want to give him a push?
Well,
bring back Batista to wrestle him.
Word is that they already made an offer for Batista to come back for WrestleMania, and he's already turned him down.
Who is he going to wrestle?
Didn't say, but the word is Batista just didn't see how he fit into any plans that they had.
Yeah, well, that sort of makes sense. I mean, it's now, especially after this pay-per-view, and again, I don't know when he made the offer, but I mean, unless he's going to win it and got hot shot at his top like 2 years ago, it really doesn't make sense to bring him back for anything. I mean, if he wants to come back for a sort of a Glory Days run, let him come back and wrestle Titus O'Neil and tell him that, you know what, that's your thing. You want to get Titus O'Neil over? You get him over. Like, we're not paying you to be main event in WrestleMania, but we'll pay you for the pop, and you will make your boy Titus O'Neil very, look 10 times better. Get a huge rub off of you.
No, that would be boring.
No, but think about it. Did you hear what I just said, or did I cut out for it? Number one, they're like boys and friends or something in real life.
Why would anyone else care?
No, nobody cares. But that's what you use to get Batista back and not have him command a freaking mint.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
If you want to get Titus over, hey, you know what? Come back and wrestle this pay-per-view to get your boy Titus over. I mean, they've sort of given him a little bit of a rub. Come back, show up at a pay-per-view, show up at a couple Raws, and wrestle at WrestleMania. But the thing is, if you bring somebody like him back, everybody's going to think he's like in for the main event push, when in reality, I mean, if he comes back and wrestles somebody like Titus, that's a huge rub for Titus.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if he's that boys with him, he would do that. I don't know. I don't know how tight their relationship is, but would Batista really want to damage his legacy like that and let Titus get a win like that over him? I don't know.
When he left 2 years ago, he didn't have much of a legacy left. I mean,
come on, don't shit on Batista. I won't accept that. I won't accept that.
Yeah, I know you like him. He's a big guy, but I mean,
are you calling me a muscle mark, bro?
All right, man. I mean, you can mark out for Triple H too. I get it.
I'm the only guy that didn't know Triple H was going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Dude, remember what was it, like 2 years ago? I think it was like remember Rod Kachi was like, dude, I'm going like 8-year-old from New Year's till WrestleMania. I'm not reading any of the dirt sheets, and I'm gonna enjoy it like an 8-year-old kid, not know what's going on, not know what the results are gonna be. Like, oh man, that actually reminds me of what you were saying last week.
Bro, I had no idea. I was like, this is gonna go down. No shit, dude. And I never thought Triple H could pull it off. And when he did, I was like, this is awesome. It was great. If you want something done right, you do it yourself. But
yeah. You know what was funny? Did you catch during the New Day's promo at the end of the show where they came out before they got in their match? They were saying, and I think it was Kofi, and like they're doing their little promo talking thing, which is entertaining as hell as usual. And said something like, "Oh yeah, and all these fantasy booking sites or something like that." And then he got they turned to him and cut him off over the top, like he meant to say that, but it was funny. He was sort of trolling, like whoa. It's like, let's not get into that.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought that was sort of almost crossing to the
next
level. I thought it was pretty funny because it was like they sort of planned it and threw it in there just to almost like CM Punkish.
What about Big Show knocking out Eric Rowan?
Oh God, it couldn't fucking end any faster. That's horrible. I feel bad for.
I was so happy to see Big Show knock somebody out.
Yeah, I mean that says a lot about how much high regard they hold. And that's a weird thing because they're saying I've read on the internet they're talking about having Lesnar basically face Strowman at a pay-per-view or a Fastlane. I think there's another. I think it was face Eric Rowan at Fastlane. Strowman at there's a Saturday Night Main Event or a special attraction on the road to WrestleMania coming up in March, where he'd wrestle. I forget if it was Harper or Rowan, and then at WrestleMania he would wrestle. What's his name? Bray.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He'll probably go through all of them at some point, but Rowan just got jobbed out. He's the one liability in the Wyatt family. Speaking of liabilities, the newly minted social outcasts lose yet another match, this time to the Usos. Does that surprise you at all?
You know what would surprise me is if they actually won a match.
They won one.
No, they didn't. They were fighting in the match, and they had Ryback come out, who's also been absent for a while.
Oh yeah,
but they had Ryback come out and sort of give them a rub when they needed to clear the ring. And I think that was a Wyatts, I think, actually, when they cleared the ring with the Wyatts and Ryback, I think.
Right. You're right. I don't think they won that.
Speaking of which, where is Ryback? Is he injured, Kev? Any idea?
He's back in Tijuana again, looking for Axel.
Dude, Ryback should join the social media outcasts.
They're reunited. Ryback's reunited.
Dude, that would be awesome. And Tyler Breeze could be their official photographer. But the thing I don't like about Tyler Breeze, at least before he had what the hell is her name?
Summer Rae.
Yeah, at least he had Summer Rae before. Now he has nobody.
What'd you think of the main event?
I mean, I thought it was serviceable. It was a pretty long match. That was good, and I wasn't sure. I knew that. I think it was safe to say. I think most of the crowd knew that Ambrose and Rollins were somehow going to win this match. Is that a safe assumption? Without if there was no interference. If there was interference.
Yeah, I mean, I would have put the titles on the line. It would have been cool. It would have made it exciting. Yeah,
or it would have made it more exciting. And it could have been, you know what? They could have teased it as, hey, they could be tag team partners leading up to the next pay per view, and they could have to defend a rematch tag team title. One of them gets injured, or one does something stupid, and then they hate each other going into the match, and that makes the Fastlane pay per view better.
Well, I liked I liked the concept of it. I just didn't like the rollout of it, especially after the match when Brock Lesnar gets his talons in Dean Ambrose. It just, I don't know, it's pretty predictable. Nothing great.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you needs to stop. Roman Reigns and his little Superman punch where he either cocks the gun, like with his hand, or punches the ground with his hand. I think that the Superman punch needs to be like, almost like the RKO. Like, oh my god, RKO out of nowhere. Like, I hate that there's, like, they're trying to turn it into a 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yeah.
When I think the element of surprise is gonna, I mean, that's actually like a devastating move. Or the 5-knuckle shuffle, it's like the elbow drop or the leg drop by Hogan. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts there. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, not necessarily. I just think the verdict's still out on kind of what's going to happen at this, at Fastlane. I mean, I know Lesnar got the better of Ambrose, tonight in their exchanges, but, I really feel like Ambrose has a chance now, but I think that's more the writing than my heart. You know,
I think they'll all get pushes leading up to the pay-per-view. I think they'll all have their episodes where, oh my gosh, they have another tag team match and Reigns gets the pin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, we just gotta, it really remains to be seen. I would say a C- Raw. It was very mailed in. It wasn't the best I've seen. I don't know. Maybe the Angry Marks Network has more to offer. How about that, Killer Kev? You guys got anything coming up this week?
What do we have tomorrow night? Well, tomorrow night on the Undisputed Wrestling Show, in the second hour, we have Scott Teal, who is a writer and interviewer. He is the owner of OneWrestlingLegends.com and of Crowbar Press, and he's been writing about professional wrestling for many years now. But in the first hour, and you're going to love this, we have one half of the multi-time WCW World Tag Team Champions, one half of Harlem Heat, Stevie Ray.
The real Stevie Ray, finally, not that jabroni Stevie Ray.
The real Stevie Ray, yes.
Wow.
That is big.
He's not coming for Hogan, he's coming for the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
That's awesome. That's a big pickup.
Next couple.
Didn't you say Demolition's going to be on in a couple of weeks also?
Yeah, next couple of weeks coming up. Next week we are going to have Ring of Honor star Moose. The week after that we are going to have TNA star Robbie E, Rob Echoes from the Indies. And then the week after that, February 23rd, we are going to have Demolition, Axe and Smash for the first time on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Come on, Tenzai, what do you got to say about that now?
I'm like profusely masturbating right now.
I want my Stevie Ray. The fact that you guys have Demolition, I'm more mad than anything you guys won't let me talk Demolition. That's all I have to say.
Well, it's going to be a full line, but you can always email in your comments.
Alright, so anyway, Andrew Tensai, any other thoughts on Raw?
I'm all out of thoughts. I'm good. It's been a great show. We'll see you next week on my mind.
Awesome, brother. Killer Cav, the music, brother.
Thanks, guys.